Hey friends, this is Whiskey and Whit. I'm Whitney, and in today's video, we are doing another wood build. We made 2 of these side tables for our living room, and I wanted to bring you along for the build, so stay tuned. So the main reason we wanted to build these tables was because Finn is on the move, and the tables we had in here were not sturdy at all. They were not child-proof, and these suckers are pretty sturdy. So we thought this would be a great time to add these to our living room.
So this project we got the plans for from Anna White's website, so I will link that down below. She's got a ton of great builds if you're looking from beginner all the way up to advanced. And here are the supplies that you will need. So step 1, like always, is to cut your wood. So starting with the 1x10s, we are going to cut the top and bottom of our boxes for the table. You're going to cut them at 23 3/4 inches long, so you end up, if you're making one table, 4 different pieces of the same length. Also, we used our brand new Ryobi saw. I will link it down below. We ended up going with a mid-level option, and we really like it. As you can see a little bit later, you'll see the cuts that it can do at different angles, and so far, so good. We really like it. Then once you have your 4 pieces per table, or if you're like us and making 2 tables, you'll have 8 pieces of 1x10. Then we decided to go the pocket hole route with our kreg jig. This is a super affordable version of it. I thought you had to spend $100 to get a kreg jig, and you don't. I will link this more affordable one down below. You have to use clamps with it, as you're seeing here, but honestly, it's easy to use. I am not a savant by any stretch with power tools, and I can make it work. So I would highly recommend this smaller one. It comes with the plastic piece that you see here on the wood, as well as the different items that you can hook to your drill, different bits. If you don't have a kreg jig, you can use wood glue in the center and then clamp them and let it dry. We made 3/4 inch pocket holes. Once your holes are drilled, we had 3 across the one piece. Then you are going to want to clamp the piece that you're going to put the screws into onto the table. So here we are clamping down the piece that does not have the pocket hole screws so that you get some counter tension, and using our pocket hole screws to hook the 2 boards together. As far as the measurements for the pocket holes and the screws, the pocket holes themselves are 3 1/4 inches, and we're using 1 1/4 inch pocket hole screws. After those were done, then I measured the short side to figure out how long my 1x4 needed to be. Most of them ended up being about 18.5 inches. A couple were just shy, but the reason that you put this together and then put the piece on is so you get a really good fit. Then after I cut those, they were attached with wood glue and 1 1/4 inch brad nails. And then I measured the long side, which was approximately 25.5 inches, and then I put both sides on there. So then you are looking at a box for the top and the bottom. We got all 4 built. Now, if you're only building one, you only need 2 boxes, the top and the bottom, but because we're doing a set for the living room, we've got 4. So the 1x4s are around the outside, and now we're gonna start cutting our 2x4s, and hopefully we can get some done before it starts raining here. When it came to the 2x4s, we had a few cuts to do. So we needed 2 pieces at about 18.5 inches, and those are going to fit into the boxes to really make these tables sturdy. Then you also need 4 pieces of the 2x4 at 17 inches, and those are going to be your legs. You'll also need 8 cut pieces of the 2x4 to be modified rectangles with opposite 45-degree angles on either side, and I'll show you how to do those in a minute. So what Alex did was cut one 45-degree angle, measure the 5.5 inches, and then cut the other angle using that measurement. Then once that was cut, he flipped the piece of wood over and repeated the same step. So then measured another 5.5 inches. If you're fancy and you have a stop block, it makes it a lot easier. We do not. We move our saw in and out. So this was a simple process, but a stop block can make it a lot quicker. We needed 8 pieces and they looked like this. Then we decided to stain at this point just because it made it a lot easier than having to try to get in all of those 45-degree angles. We branched out and tried a new Minwax stain for this project. The color is called Aged Barrel number 283, and I really love how they turned out. It matches our pergo floor almost perfectly when it got in our house. So just went through with a foam brush and painted it on, let it sit for a couple minutes, and then wiped it off. It looked very gray, and it looks very gray here because it was freezing this day, and so I had the garage door shut and just had a work light on, but you'll be able to see it at the end how everything turned out after it dried. I ended up staining everything except for the bottom of the box that was going on the bottom of the table because you will never see that, but I did every other piece just to make sure that nothing really stood out as non-stained. I am so excited to get these put together, but for now we gotta let the stain dry. To assemble then, once all the stain is dry, you're going to start with your 18.5 inch piece of 2x4 and 2 of your little hexagon pieces. So Alex went through, used a little bit of wood glue, set it up flush with the end, and then used some brad nails to hook it down. Then he inserted the piece that was 17 inches and put that in with some more brad nails as a leg. And then to reinforce it, he went through the top with some screws. Now this part isn't part of the original plan to the extent that we did it, but like I mentioned before, we wanted to make sure that these were sturdy enough for Finn, and so we wanted to make sure that the legs were nice and sturdy. So in addition to the nails, we wanted to make sure that the screws were in there. Once your legs are complete, you'll see here that 18.5 inch piece should fit perfect into the top of your table. So once that second leg was complete, Alex put it in there and then used brad nails 1.25 inch on either side to hook them in. Then once the legs were on the top, he flipped the bottom over. As you can see, that's the piece that's not stained. Used a level to make sure it was even with the top of the table, and then went through with 8 more screws just to ensure that everything was set. And the screws at the bottom are no big deal because you can't see them, so they really help with it being structurally sound, but it won't impact the look of your piece of furniture. Once that was done, then I was tasked with using the brad nailer to go around with all those 45-degree pieces and add them then to the bottom to finish off the look. To make sure that these were going to be durable and last us a long time, I took some water-based polyacrylic and gave everything a coat. Once that dried, I gave the top an additional 3 coats just to make sure that it was protected from water and all of the elements, just because we will definitely be using these tables. We let the poly dry overnight and then used these 2-inch brackets I got for $3.50 a pack at Home Depot to finish off the edges. Anna White did this in her plan, and I really liked the kind of industrial, modern look with the Farmhouse Rustic. So Alex went through, figured out where halfway was on each of the pieces, figured out where we needed to mark, and then marked and added the 4 screws for each bracket so they were in the center of each corner. And voila, they were done. I love this stain so much. When I first put it on, I did have my doubts because it went on pretty dark, but honestly, it took to this pine so great and it looks awesome. I also love the bottom of the table is open so that you can put any type of storage that you want on there. Here is what it looks like in our house with our pergo floors that you can see towards the back, and I think it matches super well. Also, the 45-degree angles really make it look super farmhouse and rustic, but it also has a little bit of character to it as well. It doesn't just look like something you went to the store and bought. Also, when people say they like it, we can tell them we made it. My last step before install was just to add some felt pads on the corner so it didn't scratch the floor, and it was done. I added this basket from Target. It's Threshold brand. We got it in 2017 when we got married, but it fits perfect. We had 2 of them, and we added one to the one side of the couch, and then we've got another one in the corner. The 2 sets worked out perfect.
I hope you enjoyed this build. Let me know down in the comments below, what are you looking to build? I've got some more projects coming up. We are going to be fully redoing our master bedroom suite. There will be builds both big and small for that room. I cannot wait to share those. If you're new to Whiskey and Whit, I love to share budget-friendly DIYs and home decor, as well as wood builds like these and tips and tricks for using your Cricut or vinyl cutting machine. So if you're new, I would love for you to hit the subscribe button and stick around so you don't miss a future video. Thanks again for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye!